Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here, and tonight we're talking Mr. Banks, yo! Oh yeah, it's an extremely goofy podcast. Oh, all right, I'll stop. I'll stop with that painful, like, hip '90s lingo. All right, everyone, we've got our follow-up to a goofy movie, the podcast. We've got an extremely goofy podcast, and with us tonight we have So You Want to Be an Imagineer newcomer Jacob Wile. How you doing?
Good, Nate. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. We have Sandy Claus. Sandy Claus, great to have you back.
Oh, thank you.
And of course, we have basically my primary co-host on the channel, BlueDragonFive. How's it been since the last 2 days since we've talked?
Been a while. It's been a while.
I know, it's like in 2 days, and me and Blue Dragon time is like an eternity.
To be honest, I was worried you wouldn't call again.
Oh god, don't say that. I'm starting college soon. We might get into situations.
See, then we have the inside-out tissues, which are... do we have any progress on physical inside-out tissues?
Don't even... I'm not even...
Tissues inspired by the Golden Globe-winning animated feature.
Yes.
I saw that, and I was so happy. Yay.
Did you guys see, when we're on the clubs, just really quick, did you see the ridiculous thing that, frickin', what's his name?
Jonah Hill?
Yeah, Jonah Hill, the bear from The Revenant.
Yeah, the bear was not as funny as he thought it was going to be.
It wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be either, but just, I like the idea that they did it in the first place. Anyways, we're not here to talk about the Golden Globes. We're here to talk about the 2000 direct-to-video sequel to A Goofy Model. A Goofy Model? What the?
A Goofy Model? Oh, man, where's that movie?
Goofy what?
Jesus Christ. A goofy movie entitled An Extremely Goofy Movie. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that too?
Yes. Okay, so gentlemen, I guess we'll start things off by just going into background and nostalgia. Now, I'm assuming that I am the one person who has not seen this movie in their childhoods when it first came out.
I actually caught it many years later on TV when I was on vacation.
Okay.
I saw it multiple times. Just like random places. I remember there's just this gymnastics place, and they had all these VHSs, and I just see it sitting on the shelf. When I started watching it, and I turned it off. I never got around to watching it until actually just a few months ago. I saw it on Netflix.
Oh wow! Okay.
Just decided to watch it because got to see the sequel.
So, Dragon, are you the only one that watched it as a kid then?
It's sounding like that, yeah.
Right.
Well, I was on vacation like 10 years ago, so I was technically a kid when I first watched it, just not immediately after it came out.
Right, sure.
But I was young when I first watched it, so...
I remember renting this thing when it first came out, and I turned it off after like 10 minutes.
I don't blame you.
I was like, what this isn't Goofy Movie. What is this? Is what? No. Looking back on it, it's not that bad. I would wager to say this is probably up there with the best of the direct-to-DVD Disney sequels, probably about as high quality as something like The Lion King 1.5, which isn't saying like a ton, but it's saying that it's at least competently made.
Yeah.
Obviously, round table, we agree this is weak sauce compared to the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least they tried.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a decent effort.
Yep, they tried.
Yeah.
I just remember being put off by the VHS box art for one, just Goofy with the 70s suit, and then Max with the skateboard. I'm like, what are they trying to do here?
I'll give you that one. The box art was not good on the poster for this movie wasn't the most thrilling.
Yeah, that's what I always remember seeing on the VHS cover was that cover and just incredibly
Just why?
sure.
I never saw any of the box art. I always just caught it on TV.
Okay. Dragon, I guess in particular, what kind of nostalgic connections do you have here?
Sure. Again, with me it was the VHS tape. Of course, the almighty VHS tape, where it's you pull it from the bookshelf, like one of those has the protective casing. We all
Of course.
all too familiar with.
The
and you pop
iconic
it
Disney
in.
clamshell.
You pop it in, and then as you transport it away, it's like, hey, another goofy adventure. And what I remember very distinctly from this, there was, like, at the beginning of the VHS tapes, especially the Disney VHS tapes, where they would, like, advertise, like, stick around after the movie to watch, like, the little something. It's either promoting another movie or promoting the movie itself. In this case, it was like, it was either the Disney movie service, which still has somehow managed to limp its way to today, or...
Yes, did you see the thing they just released for Moana?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this was either the movie servers or maybe a little bit before the movie servers. Basically, it was the same sort of thing. And it'll always stick in my mind, this one shot. And there was a behind-the-scenes associated with it. I believe the behind-the-scenes is really just a music video of some variety. That's what I think it was. Either that or it was. Unfortunately, it's been a while since I've seen that. I can't really find it anywhere online.
Movie surfers.
Point is,
lots of memories there. Lots of memories.
Yeah.
I always remember the advertisement for that, where basically it's them when they're skateboarding through the campus and they hop over the guy who's playing the guitar with the box full of change.
The little Blue Brothers guy.
Yeah, that guy.
He's like my
always
favorite character in this whole movie.
It's like you hear the big booming voice saying "stick around," and then you see him jump over the thing. And it was the behind the scenes was either a music video, which they did constantly.
That's the money shot, folks. That's the money shot. Skateboarding over a blues brother.
It was either that or it was either that or like talking about the animation that went into the movie. It's one of those two. And unfortunately, I cannot at this point in time find out because unfortunately they didn't put that on YouTube. Regardless, I think this one is. I rewatched this movie a lot. It's like Goofy movie was so immersive. It was so distinctly. Every beat just was so emotionally and just on every aspect just so well constructed. Just, it imprinted itself on your mind. So you can rewatch it, but not as often. It's like I watch this. I know this movie in my DNA. This movie, on the other hand, was one that you rewatched a lot. That's what I found about it. It's like it's a fun adventure of Goofy. It's different. It looks distinctly different from the other one.
Yeah, it does. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing.
I'm not saying saying you don't want it to be the exact same movie, but I mean, don't wrong, the first movie was phenomenal.
Well, it's kind of funny where this movie, it's like an entirely different setting, but like plot-wise, which we're going to get into, it is kind of the exact same movie.
I'm not sure about that. I might have some disagreements on that. We'll see where it goes.
This was more about the growth of Goofy as an individual than anything else.
That's very true. That's very true. That is one thing I'll give this movie, is that it does give very good character development to Goofy, and it's arguably one of the most fully fleshed out versions of Goofy we've ever seen.
Even though it's never used again.
Right.
But also, I remember, like, nostalgically for this movie, I think we can maybe all agree on this on some level. The skateboard in this movie, really, this is my big introduction to kind of the competitive skateboarding outside of Rocket Power.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. I actually remember the first time I visited California Adventure, they had this X Game thing set up, where it was basically like an X Game stunt show. And it's cool because, they had that giant X, which actually served as the finale for this movie. So that was kind of a delight for me because I saw that giant, inflatable X Games X. And I was like, oh, I've seen that in person at California Adventure. So that was kind of like a neat little indirect nostalgia thing I had with this.
Yeah, the other thing with me, the last thing really, is I remember this is kind of the first exploration of, to my knowledge, at least even to this day, it's like one of the first explorations of a college campus in animation. Like as a kid, I'm thinking, man, it's like a little town they got here.
And because of that reason, Monsters University is the extremely goofy movie of Pixar movies.
Okay, come on, don't say that. That's not nice.
That's basically the way I think of Monsters University.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
That's a solid movie.
I don't need any more damn college movie cliches. I'm tired of it. It's done.
I'm sorry. How many animated movies can you think of that are set in college campus? Just name 5.
Not animated movies in particular, but like literally every like animated sitcom in existence has done a college episode. Like Futurama, Robot House.
Okay, that doesn't count. Futurama doesn't count.
Why does that not count? Anyways, we're getting wildly off topic here.
How is Futurama not? How does that not count?
How does that not count?
Well, I mean, You're saying every animated show. I mean, a show that's just set in the it has adult characters in it. Of course, there'd be a college. You know, that
Right,
makes
all right.
sense.
I thought a lot of Disney sitcoms were like high school stuff, or like younger.
There's not a lot of college stuff.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm talking about movies over TV shows.
You lost, Tiki. You lost.
I guess I did.
Yeah,
You got me there, Kylo.
eat it.
Oh my gosh.
All
Okay,
right.
anyway, so any more thoughts on your first impressions of this film?
Me in particular?
Well, I mean, everyone else. Yeah. Do we think we're all covered on that, or?
I mean, I think so. My first impression was just like, yeah, that's okay. All right. I mean, I've seen worse direct-to-Disney videos. I honestly think the worst thing this movie has going for it is the fact that a Goofy movie is still one of my favorite Disney movies ever. So in that regard, it can't compare.
Well, I just kind of view it as another Return of Jafar.
that's not what I said.
Okay. Anyway.
Yo, I was just adding on to what Tiki was saying about it's not the worst. Extremely Goofy movie isn't the worst.
I ironically enough do have some nostalgia for Return of Jafar as well, but I acknowledge that it's terrible.
What about the King of Thieves?
Yeah, King of Thieves is
a
awesome.
much better movie.
I love King of Thieves. That's a good one.
I wouldn't
Anyway.
mind podcasting about King of Thieves at one point.
I would be up for that one. I love John Rhys Davies in that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, back to this. One last thought on this before I guess we move on to our next segment. Here is, I just view it as another adventure in the Goofy movie verse. Obviously it's kind of it's a different stage in their lives. I kind of like seeing that.
It's a different stage in their lives, and yet the characters have regressed to almost pre-Goofy movie stages in their lives.
I don't think that's the case.
Even though they're older.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so I guess we move on to College Chronicles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, folks, here's the story in a nutshell. I'm going to try to breeze through so we can talk about what we think of this plot. So,
I mean, it is just a collection of cliches, so.
Okay, so it's Max.
Oh, I'm salty tonight, aren't I?
Yeah.
Dial down the saltiness a little bit.
All right, I'll try. I'll try.
So in a nutshell, the movie goes like this: it's Max, PJ, and Bobby heading to college and looking forward to the X Games. Goofy deals with empty nest syndrome. He's missing Max, and which of course leads to distractions and him being fired, which we're going to talk at length about when that happens. So we see a Gamma House. They're trying to recruit Max, but exclude his friends, which Max refuses, and a rivalry begins over who will win the X Games. Goofy goes to college to finish his last year of college, and that also as a way to stay in Max's life, much to Max's frustration. Goofy meets a nice librarian and is recruited by the Gammas, who cheat in the X Game events. That's important.
Yeah, they notice Goofy's skills.
Yes.
Wait, hold on, BlueDragonFive. Hold on.
What?
Did you just say that there's a rival team in a sports movie that cheats?
No, I didn't.
What unconventional storytelling?
Said there was a rivalry.
I'm being a dick at this point. I'm sorry.
I said there was a rivalry and they cheat.
They use
I'm sorry.
rocket-powered skateboards.
Oh God, yes, they do.
If you're gonna cheat, you want to cheat in style. Come on.
I mean, that's the real rocket power.
Because no one can tell you're cheating when you're using rockets.
Yes,
No.
we'll get into that. All right. Let me get through I'm just about finished. All right.
All right, I'm sorry.
And they notice Goofy's skills.
Well, to be fair, you have to applaud. Goofy does have genuine skills of surviving all the things he goes through.
I
Still
guess so.
somehow
Yeah,
ending.
yeah.
He somehow manages to survive everything, even though he just has no idea what he's doing.
Right.
I mean, when you think about it, over the years, how many pratfalls Goofy's been through, it's ridiculous. He's probably done some very death-defying things in his day.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. He skis, played sports, drove in the grove. He's built houses.
He's built TVs.
Yeah, he's done home theaters.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
important.
He did sports. He did the weightlifting thing.
Let's
He-
not
he
forget
did
Mr. Wheeler.
The home gym.
Oh, those are some damn quality shorts right there. Those are
Oh,
like
yeah.
some of the best of all of Disney's library of
I
shorts.
argue Goofy's bread and butter were those shorts.
Oh
That's
yeah,
Goofy's bread and butter.
absolutely, absolutely.
That's how he bought that nice house he has. Anyways,
And the House of Mouse ones too.
oh, yeah. I love the House of Mouse shorts. Those are my favorites.
The how-tos.
Yes, I love the how-tos. Those again, but that's another thing I think this movie really has to its benefit. I think they homage that a lot. But we'll get more into that.
Okay.
So after falling behind in his studies, Goofy quits the Gammas and, in the end, helps Max and the gang win the X Games. Hooray!
Yay!
And that's the movie in a nutshell.
He
All right, fair enough.
graduated from college.
Of course.
Okay, my big issue with this whole plot is just Max's attitude.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know about that. I think he's kind of justified in a lot of these.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I
also,
remember,
I
he is
think
very
also-
understanding. And
Think about it like this. And you go to college, and then suddenly your dad comes up in a disco outfit and an afro. So like,
come on, give him some points on that one, Tiki. Come on.
Wouldn't you feel a bit justified? Wouldn't you feel
Okay,
a bit?
look, yeah, absolutely.
Now, let me
absolutely.
highlight a very important aspect, Tiki.
The thing about it, his dad is goofy.
My whole problem is that it's basically just recycling the whole first movie of like, oh, I'm embarrassed by my dad. And yeah, you raise good points. Goofy is embarrassing, but I wanted to see something new with these characters.
Yeah, it definitely would have been nice to see the Goofy movie, like the relationship they had at the end.
What about a movie
Referenced.
where Max is constantly trying to defend Goofy to his friends, and really the main conflict is PJ and Bobby and their reaction to Goofy?
I don't know how well that would work, actually.
I don't know.
It just sounds like it wouldn't be goofy, and it'd be just kind of more. It would be a bit more in the drama section, and it wouldn't be very funny or
Yeah.
like characters.
All
Yeah,
right.
but let's save this discussion for characters, all right?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let's save the Max stuff for when we get to them, okay? But
Okay.
Overall, I think the film feels a lot like this plot and everything. It feels a lot like an 80s film with 70s touches here and there. I think it's a straightforward plot, I'll give you that. But I think it's more homaging the kind of the classic college stuff. Again, it doesn't do the whole, doesn't do an Animal House per se, but it's like, this is one of the early kind of X Games type college movies, so you gotta give them that.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, I watched this before I watched any of those college movies, so I had no idea what college movie cliches were. At the time.
Right. Okay. I guess
I mean,
we'll
they
get.
don't do like all of the. That's what I'm saying. Most of the college cliches again are you're really unable to get away with in animated college movies. That's what I'm saying. Is a lot of the Animal House type gags.
Mhm.
No, they're very downplayed.
What's the bar in the film? It's like a
The Poetry Club.
Java bean.
Yeah, it's like the Java Bean. It's like
Mhm.
it's a coffee hangout. You know, it's casual.
Funny thing, right down the street from where I live, there's a coffee shop called the Jammin' Bean.
That's
Yeah, in the Flash they call theirs jitters. Pretty funny.
Okay.
Does yours have live poetry?
I actually haven't really been there, but they do have outdoor movie theaters and stuff.
Do they have beatniks?
I don't know. But
That's the real question. Do they have legit beatniks from the 1960s?
They may on occasion.
Do they have nachos?
Oh well, I don't know. They have donuts. They have ice
You
cream.
gotta have your
donuts?
cheesy
That's awesome.
snacks, Sandy Claus. You gotta have your cheesy snacks. It's very important to Pauly Shore.
But here's the important question: with the donuts, do they serve milk?
Yeah,
That's a very important part of any
I'm sure they would
any young
serve
person's
milk.
breakfast. Milk and donuts.
while
Okay.
watching Jaws outside.
That's kind of awesome, actually.
I would like to visit that cafe, actually. I'd go for a donut.
If I could come to Michigan, I'd definitely try and visit that place.
Okay, so I guess it's time to move on to the yearbook photos.
We good on plot?
I think we're good on plot.
All
Yeah.
right, let's move
Yeah.
on to our.
Yeah, we
Sorry?
can work in more of the other parts of the story in these characters.
Sure. Let's get to our character setting, which would be called the yearbook photos.
Yearbook photos. Yeah. All right. Want to start with the big man himself?
Goofy.
Why not? Big Papa.
After all, his name is in the movie.
Yeah, Jacob, you did bring up a good point in that this really is Goofy's movie more than it is Max's movie right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
the last one was more about both of them. This one is
Right.
just focuses more on the development between of Goofy himself.
Yeah.
Which I like. I think this movie very much has one of the most pure Goofies that we've ever seen in terms of, like, you know, I do think he has some of the character development carried over from a Goofy movie, but one thing is, I guess it's just in his nature to be, like, way too clingy towards Max, but it bothers me a little bit how it's like we have that whole montage of him breaking all the grand rules that Max set. And like I said, I guess that's just his character, but it kind of bothers me that at the end of the Goofy movie, he just kind of goes back to that behavior.
Well, look, to be fair, he didn't really break the ground rules that much. Well, exception of the waking up in the morning, because he did lose the wig. Remember, they didn't really establish
people.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing he lost the wig.
One of the funniest lines. That was the last nostalgic thing I wanted to mention too. It was one of the most distinct lines from the trailer for this movie. I love the trailer for this movie. That was the big thing that got me to watch it on VHS.
Right,
but I love the bit where it's like at the end. I guess the trailer ends with Max grabbing the wig off his head and saying, "Dad, you're scaring people." My favorite Max line in this. My favorite Max line ever, to be honest. I just love him saying, "Dad, you're scaring people."
We'll get into Bobby. We'll get into Bobby later, and I have a lot of problems with Bobby in this movie. But
he does have one really great line though, but we'll get into that.
But yes. But I
Why
love
do we wear
the idea that
gloves?
he just adopts the wig.
Have you ever stopped and wondered why we wear gloves?
That's probably the best joke in the whole movie.
Yeah, that is.
Very lampshading. It's a very lampshady kind of joke.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on Goofy?
Yeah. With Goofy, this Bill Farmer, he does a great job, and as always, portraying Goofy. And here he plays him very sympathetic. And what I love most about this portrayal of Goofy in this movie, we get to see him go through play different levels of Goofy we haven't really seen. It's like going through a deep emotional loss. Like he was at risk of losing Max in the first movie. Here he's lost him at the beginning of this film. And you get to see the emptiness on Goofy. You never really see that with Goofy. Like a defeated Goofy is going through existence without his son for a moment. Clinging to the memory. Like he's lost the battle at the beginning of this movie. It's
early on in this movie, they definitely do capture some of that Goofy movie magic of just ripping your heart out with these fatherhood dilemmas.
And another thing with this Goofy that you really didn't get to see a lot of, and you got one moment of it which I really loved, and I talked about it at length in a Goofy movie. Here we get more of these moments of just kind of the take charge Goofy moments. Like you rarely see those. Just seem like the series kind of Goofy taking charge. It's amazing. It's so rare and so endearing. You love it.
Yeah, it still fits within his character parameters.
Yes, I mean there's some mortal danger in this movie towards the end. It's not as dramatic and awesome as the waterfall. I'll give you that, but still it's dangerous though. The ending, the third act, it's dangerous though.
Yeah,
there were some stakes.
One of the good kind of character building moments for Goofy happens right at the beginning where he's watching Max skateboard and he's like, "Gosh, Maxie really is good at that skateboard stuff." And then Bobby's like, "Yeah, Max is gonna kill at college." And then I have flashbacks of like, "Oh no, Max, I don't want to see you end up in the electric chair."
No, that is an example of Goofy, just the Goofy's fatherly instincts kicking in that moment, though, of like him knowing, like, oh man, he might goof off with this stuff if I'm not careful. I should remind him, remember, you're there to, I forget what the line was, but. You're there for your future. You're there to stay focused. No fiddle faddle.
Oh God.
You're there. I love that Goofy, of course. In the end, as always with Goofy, he's always there for Max no matter what. Even though Max kind of chastises him for a bit in the movie. It's for like this one bit, he really just kind of like ignores his father there, and Goofy's still there for him no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, but Goofy's very solid in this movie. He's very entertaining.
Yeah. All right, so I guess Max.
Sure. So let me defend Max for a moment here. I think there's a really great bit with Max. I think kind of shows that development has happened with these two, and I think See, at the beginning there, after Goofy reveals himself to be going to college, right after that scene, after the big moment, which we'll talk about a little later, when they're coming out of there, Goofy has explained Max's situation. Is, well, then I got fired. I guess I lost my focus. And Max has this great line where he's very understanding of Goofy's situation. He's, oh, Dad, I'm so sorry, and he understands. He is not. See, if he was immature, if he was backtracking, he would have said, "Oh, why are you doing this to me?" But he didn't do that. He understands. He's very sympathetic towards his father. He gets it. He feels bad for him.
Fair enough.
It's not unprecedented. The similar events repeat themselves through lives. Through someone's life, and it's the idea that issue is still there, still ruminating. It's still. It's going to come up with Goofy as your father, and especially in a place where that stuff is even more inappropriate than it was before. I mean, kids are always cruel. These are college students laughing at a really, really silly guy by your side constantly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think it's understandable. I don't think it's really backtracking with Max here in this movie. And I think aside from that one scene where that one's a little convenient for the plot, I'll give you. I think the majority of it, Max, is pretty where we can identify with Max.
No, you raise a good point. I guess. I don't know. No.
He's making him look bad, and he is a little clingy. At many times, he's like pulling out the Mickey Mouse underwear in front of the cute girl behind the counter.
Well, but that's also one of my issues, that I feel like Goofy at this point, like if he really did kind of develop since a Goofy movie, he'd be a little bit more subtle about stuff like that.
Well, he's still Goofy.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't change him too much there. And again, it's kind of a spotty in the mind for Goofy. I'm not saying he's become senile or anything. I'm just saying it's like Goofy always has a kind of reset going on in his mind. Like
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, by all means, go ahead.
After Goofy pops up at the college and tells Max that he's going to be there, Max just kind of learns to deal with it one way or another. And Goofy, like Max says, lose the wig. He loses the wig. He doesn't want to embarrass his son, but it just kind of happens accidentally.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So it's not that Goofy's unwilling to do so. It's just his character flaw. He's so.
Well, like I said, I think the montage kind of hammered it in a little too much. Of like Goofy is clearly not getting it.
Oh, you gotta remember, some of the stuff though isn't Goofy. He brings Max breakfast, and of course, then he can't. Like, there's so many. There are a lot of moments of subtlety you can't really communicated on screen. Like Goofy should know. Oh, I can't bring my son breakfast. It's obviously he wouldn't quite get that. It makes sense. You can't get all the subtlety there.
All right. Well, I don't want to turn this into a debate, so let's move on to the next character.
It's another show.
Oh yeah.
So, but no, seriously, with Max, with his characters, to wrap up specifically on Max here, I think what I like about this take on Max is showing the development here. It's like he wants to independently be his own man, which makes sense. Here's a moment in this film where he's just being identified right back to, oh, you're Goofy's son. He doesn't want that. It's like taking the issue of the first film and turning it to a more mature level here. Like, it's becoming your father. He's made peace with, okay, I am at my core, I am my father. I get that, but I want to make my own name here. I don't want to just be known as Goofy's son, which is touched upon in this film. It's like he's independently wants to be his own man rather than, oh, yes, you're Goofy's son. Oh, that's so cute.
Which is kind of a neat little meta thing, because as Disney fans, what do we know Max for if not for being Goofy's son?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see. Should we move on to PJ?
Yeah, sure. PJ, of course, voiced by the wonderful Rob Paulson.
He has more of an active role in this movie than the last one.
He does,
and he gets the girl, which is, good for PJ.
Oh, yeah.
That's a poetry lady.
Yeah. And she's not a bad looker either.
Just call her Mochaccino.
As far as animated Animal-esque characters go.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, of course. There's like, let's not get into some Space Jam comparisons in the Nostalgia Creek would love.
Oh dear.
But
no, let's not.
But it's kind of weird with the design. I want to talk about that for a second. Just the designs overall with every character. It's like, on the college campus, they really, because they wanted to strive for, I guess, a human look. Just you'll notice, like kind of like within How the Grinch Stole Christmas, add a snout and you add like funky ears, and then they're a different species.
Right.
Just give them a snout and some droopy ears.
Oh god. I mean, PJ, he's, I really like Rob Paulson kind of playing PJ as like the stuffy, poetic type.
Yeah, he's becoming.
Yeah, never really.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny.
I mean, it happens out of nowhere. I just appreciate Rob Paulson as a voice actor, so I just appreciate, like, oh, it's Rob Paulson doing a twist on one of his most famous characters. Nice.
You look at it this way, it's like Pete. It's like they're all being, with the exception of Bobby. Bobby is kind of a stickler.
We'll get into Bobby. Yeah.
Obviously we'll get to him in a moment here. But when you look at Max and PJ for a second, there's by comparison there. Like they're both kind of entrenched in their own separate college experiences there. Max, he's striving for the X Games. And of course, he's got all the stuff with his father on the side there. PJ's just kind of the normal college experience.
Right.
He's being wrapped up in this other culture on the side. I'm assuming they're all doing okay in their studies.
Pete's also not bombarding them with college and all that.
Yeah, in a way, one could look at it as, okay, so you got Max kind of fighting over identity with his father kind of intriguing on his college experience. Pete away from PJ's experience out of his life, and kind of the reverse there. PJ's actually flourishing. Right. Without his father, kind of being a nervous wreck over his father, like is what we know PJ best as being. PJ is pretty confident in this thing, He's with that Goofy being around.
And Pete was almost glad to see him go.
He was.
I miss you if you don't leave. One of the great lines.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think PJ's pretty solid in this. But again, he's just the voice of reason. He's kind of the realist, so he's still bringing what he usually brings to it. But things are working out for PJ. It's a nice change of pace. Time's passed. PJ's in good hands.
Ralph Paulson is good at those kind of characters.
Oh yeah,
especially when they get wacky stuff to do. Like it's just all the little Buddha, Buddha man.
Have you guys watched the new Ninja Turtles at all? He returns as Donatello in that.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it. Yeah, he seems to be good.
It's one of the many shows I've been meaning to catch up on. I've been watching through Rick and Morty right now.
I'm not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles guy. I just watched that show, a little bit of that, and I've seen. I'm impressed with what I found of it.
It's actually Raphael in the original series, and now he's returned as Donatello.
Yeah.
I have something to tell you. I am one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Tiki, I have a little question here.
When
are we gonna get, your special guest?
When we get to the dance scene.
What?
We get to the music.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Don't spoil it, Sandy. Don't spoil it.
This is why we have meetings, Sandy.
I had just forgotten. My apologies.
When you're fashionably late, we can't have meetings.
I'll leave him alone. All right.
Okay, I'm kidding you, Sandy.
I know.
Well, at least he didn't say who it was.
Okay, let's get to Bobby.
Oh boy.
Okay, so Bobby, not a lot with him, unfortunately. He
was one of the most delightful characters in the first movie, and I think it's just a matter of him having more screen time and them kind of letting Pauly Shore just be more like Pauly Shore.
He continues his cheese fetish.
Yeah, he still loves
but not in a charming way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not even any mention of the canned cheese. I mean,
he does say Cheesa, though.
He does say Cheesa, right.
He says Cheesa, and there's a cheese presence through the film in places. It's a lot of cheese when it's there, so it's still cheese.
Look, my issue with him is that he's basically just he has some of the dumbest lines.
Yeah, I'll give it. Again, Bobby's not really the most thrilling part.
Like the whole bit at the beginning where he's like, "Oh, those gammas are gonna get their booties kicked out."
I remember Pauly Shore.
He gets to say "buddy" in this one. It says, "Hey, buddy."
Remember, this is Pauly Shore we're talking about.
Yeah, I know, but the first movie, I don't. Whenever I watch the first movie, I never even think of Pauly Shore when I see that character. He's just. I think that character is done so well in the first movie where you just buy into it. But here, it's just like they've written him to be way more like Pauly Shore levels of obnoxious.
Well, let me say this about one thing on Bobby's defense. Not much, because again, he's barely in the movie. But anyway, aside from just being a presence here and there, he's there and he has the funny liner on the side. At least the seemingly funny liner side. Regardless, I like that they kind of play him. He has his moment in the sun. He's showing he's a team player and he does bring some there. Like he's doing the rock climbing thing. He delivers in the end. There's that moment where he gets kind of sucked out of the end game. He says, "No, go on without me."
One thing I give it credit for is I do think it's kind of neat that he's the expert roller skater of the bunch.
Yeah.
And the other two are skateboarders. I thought that was a nice way to kind of give it a little variety.
Yeah, again, plus I think the thing with Bobby is that he might be asking. There might be a subtle thing where he's asking the really smart questions, but no one's listening to him with that line he says.
Is this why we wear gloves?
Yeah, he's asking the smart questions, but no one's paying much mind to him.
Right. That's great.
Like, man, this man speaks wisdom.
Yeah, I know the actual answer to that though.
Well, you mean just the four fingers thing?
No, the gloves.
Oh.
Well, it's back in the old days, in black and white, and they thought the black and all the characters were like black and all that, like their black fur and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you could tell me to tell where their hands were. So
right.
They added gloves.
Because if you were to do it back then, you would have to have like the light lines on the side to highlight the hand within the fur, which would have taken a long time back then.
That was hard to see. Since that was hard to see, they added gloves, and the design just stuck.
Certainly.
And just it was just adopted with other characters.
Wonder if they're born with the gloves on.
No, it's like a bar mitzvah. They get the gloves when they. Like,
oh God.
Well, and then some of them get the gloves, cut off on the sides there.
Did Max have gloves in?
They just automatically grow on them or something.
Did Max have gloves in Goof Troop?
I think so.
That's something we might want to look into.
I'm pretty well. Remember, that's when Goofy was really off model. He had like the weird the side face.
Oh God! Oh
he
God!
Had like the flesh on the side instead of just being all black, which looks more appealing.
I think Donald's one of the few main Disney characters that doesn't wear gloves.
Max does have gloves in Goof Troop.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Donald's the only one of the main trio that doesn't wear gloves.
He is. All right.
Okay. Well, and Daisy. But a trio, yes. I'm just saying Daisy also does not wear gloves. Okay, anyway.
I don't think any of the ducks in this Disney world wear gloves.
No.
It's not funny if they wore like black gloves somehow.
Scrooge wears something on his. I could have sworn he wore something on his hands.
Yeah, like the fingerless gloves, right?
Maybe something like
Scrooge
that.
and like the Christmas Carol does.
Yeah, he wears you're right. He does wear the fingerless gloves.
For
some scene in that movie, he wears fingerless gloves. I'm sure.
Okay, so he does. But we're talking about Bobby earlier.
Yeah. So we wrapped up on Bob because again he raised the profound glove question. But let's get to not a lot on her. Unfortunately, she doesn't really have a name, so she's listed as Beret Girl or.
I call her Mochaccino. I think
Miss Mochaccino. So Miss Mochaccino, she's voiced by the wonderful Vicki Lewis. Now Vicki Lewis, she's done a lot of stuff really funny, a lot of comedy. Particularly, I know her from Finding Nemo. She was a Flo. Remember Flo, the sister, who was the reflection in Nemo.
Deb and Flo.
Yeah, Deb and Flo. Thank you. Yeah.
Who is she in the movie again? In Finding Nemo?
Deb and Flo, the one of the tank gang. She has the sister who's the reflection.
Oh yeah.
Has everybody seen Flo?
Yeah, when the tank gets all gunked up. Flo, has anyone seen Flo?
And she says, "Don't listen to Flo. She's nuts." Even though she should never hear Flo responding to her.
Well, she's always interrupting at the same time. That's what it is.
I actually rather like this character. I mean, it'd be okay. It'd be better if she got a little more development, but she has a good presence when she's there.
Yeah, I liked her.
I mean, she kind of does a good job sort of neutralizing everything. I like her whole talk of the bad vibes and everything. I like her kind of, I think her best moment is when she just kind of shuts up Bradley and she's like, just kind of says something about like how his bad vibes are like infecting the whole place or something like that.
I gotta tell you that.
Bradley Upper Crust the Third.
Yeah, I gotta tell you though, I really do love her design. I like the beret and like the hair coming down on one side. I really like that. It looks nice. And yeah, you're right. Like she does these poetry slam type things with not exactly poetry slam because I've seen like a bunch of Star Wars poetry slams. So there's like a slew of something going in one direction. But like she has like the I don't know what type of poetry it is, but it's it's all basically she's like the queen of the beatniks essentially.
basically.
Yeah. And she starts going out with PJ.
Yeah, and again, I really like her dynamic with PJ. I think it's fun. Like she's giving him some time of day there, and she's saying, "Oh, Buddha boy, what do you speak wisdom? You're playing with the big canines."
I wanted to see PJ at the end of the film wearing like all black with a beret and shit.
Well, he does.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, remember he's Well, not I don't know if it's all black. But he's wearing a beret and he has like I think he has sunglasses and he was wearing like a sweater of some kind when he's talking to Max when he gets the coffee.
He definitely adopted that look. He definitely adopted the whole beat poetry look.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess
those two definitely are interesting together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's fun that PJ gets the girl, and she's an interesting girl at the same time. I like that.
And Max doesn't have a love interest at all, which is kind of refreshing.
Yeah, that is really refreshing.
Well, I thought you going into this movie were so broken-hearted when we told you no Roxanne.
I was, yeah,
That's
but
one
I
of my
kind of
favorite
got
elements.
over that.
Remember, you started drinking because of that.
Oh God, that's right. That's right.
Yes, a prima donna.
And now you're saying it's refreshing.
I just don't. I couldn't imagine where Roxanne would fit into this movie, though. That's the only thing.
She really wouldn't.
That's what we tried telling you last time.
She basically
All right, fair enough. I
I
admit when I'm wrong.
Okay. All right, so should we go to the rest of our college campus pals here? Or should we go to Pete?
Let's quickly go through Pete. He doesn't have a ton.
Guys, we haven't discussed Goofy's girlfriend yet.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. Should we go through the rest of the college campus characters, which includes her, or go to Pete?
Pete.
All right, let's go. Pete has some interesting subtext, so let's talk about Pete. Okay, so, of course, Pete's big line, as we mentioned, goodbye, son, I can't miss you if you don't leave.
Oh, Jim Cummings.
I think it's one of his ramp-up lines, too, of, like, just, like, him, along with him saying, one of Daddy's favorite little tax write-offs. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
he wasn't in that much of the movie, was he?
He's only in two
scenes, yeah.
But I like that he represents. I think he represents, in weird ways, rewatching. He's kind of hit on me. I don't know. It's strange. I think he represents the place Goofy needs to reach in his arc eventually. It's the acceptance of Max going to college and kind of being out of his life, but obviously a much more humble, more kind of loving way than Pete's.
Right.
But seriously, think about it. It's like Pete, again, in this case, like a Goofy movie, is right in the end, but Goofy needs to listen to him, but apply it to himself, like find a middle ground.
He is absolutely right in the wrong ways.
I can't really see Goofy going, I can't miss you if you don't leave.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, though? It's the point where he should accept his son going and embracing his own destiny, so to speak.
I agree with you on that, but I'm just saying, like, what if Pete turned into Goofy? I mean, Goofy turned into Pete, or vice versa.
Well, again, we've seen when Goofy tries to turn into Pete, it doesn't work out.
What if Pete tried to be Goofy, though? How would that work?
Oddly enough, in Goof Troop, many times Pete kind of becomes Goofy by the end when he learns his lessons. Like, if Pete's back into a corner with his family, I think he's going to end up being more Goofy than he'll let on.
That was kind of a thing they explored in Goof Troop.
Yeah.
Do you think they actually don't mind each other? Do you think they actually like each other? They just tolerate?
Yeah. No, I think they're buddies. I legitimately think they're buddies.
Again, like, Goofy generally thinks Pete is his friend, and Pete just likes kind of rubbing. When he thinks he's right, he loves rubbing in Goofy's face. But also, he likes having him around as a cameraman. So he'll never admit it, though.
I always thought it was just like a one-sided friendship kind of thing.
I don't know. It's like, it seems one-sided on the surface, but Pete does, like, he invites him to his house and everything. So it's past the point where he wants to keep Goofy out. So he invites him in just because he either likes the rube around. It's like kind of like a honeymooners type dynamic, like, oh, I'm going to show this little yuppie friend of mine I'm superior. But of course, at his core, it's like, this guy is my buddy. I'll keep him around. He's the only guy who can tolerate me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, these two have a working history with each other.
Yeah, he's one of the few people outside the main trio that can tolerate him.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Goofy's the only person that sees the good in Pete. It's like Mickey's like character's always against Pete.
Very, very sweet message.
Yeah, it's like Goofy's never fighting against Pete. He's like maybe occasionally in competition with Pete, but never at a mouse.
Except occasionally in the House of Mouse.
That's the thing, though. Even with that, it's like I don't remember if.
Then again, that really is more against Donald and Mickey, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like Pete incarnate is Mickey's antagonist. That's what his role was initially. He's Mickey's antagonist, but he's never against Goofy. Again, oddly enough, dog and cat, they're best of buddies. Cat and mouse still applies.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But they also come up. Pete has this great.
What about dog and duck? How does that work?
Dog and. Oh, it's not really written about that. I don't know,
You remember dogs hunt ducks?
I remember apparently Donald.
Oh god, the Duck Hunt dog from Nintendo.
Right. Plus, you gotta remember, Donald's one of Goofy's best friends. There's Max bringing it up. Oh, you're going with my best friend in the world, Donald Duck. So it says a lot about their relationship.
What I'd actually like to see is how those three became friends.
That would be a great movie, actually.
Yeah.
Oh man, what if they did like a Goofy movie prequel? Because we do see Mickey and Donald in that same universe in a Goofy movie.
You do.
I want to see that movie now.
I really. Even if it's not a Goofy movie, I want to see that movie. I want to see them three.
Because you always see Mickey, Donald, and Goofy together no matter what, but you wonder, how do these guys become friends to begin with?
Right, right.
What brought these three random guys together?
That would be like a trademark Disney film.
I would love that. Could be their
trademark characters right there.
That could be their Lego movie almost, like their emotional kind of backstory. You know, that could be like this is how these three characters met, and they get maybe it turns into like an adventure, like kind of the Ghostbusters type thing they had, like goes to a detective agency.
All right.
Lonesome, whatever. What's this one?
Lonesome Ghosts.
Lonesome Ghosts. Thank you. But last thing on Peter, I guess. Well, if you guys want to say anything about it, but I love the fourth wall gag. Did I miss something? Looking directly at the audience, asking them, "Wait, did I miss something?"
What did he do? Like Goofy was going off to college or something. He's like, "Did I miss something?"
Yeah. No, but seriously, though, with Pete, though, again, he is very beneficial to the plot, or at least very beneficial to Goofy's motivation there. Like he ushers him into that line of thinking, and whether Pete's aware of it or not, just like he's having him around saying, again, just like you yell at the kid, "Oh, Goof!" Yeah, he's giving really bad advice, saying, "Oh, all you need to know is that 4 bits equals 1 simoleon. That's all you need to know."
What the hell? Whatever the hell that means.
And again, that is a real line of thinking. People think, well, what it means is like 4 quarters equal a buck. You need to know how money works.
Oh, okay.
But what Pete's getting at there, that is a line of thinking. People who don't value college education. That's what Pete's saying. So it's kind of Goofy saying, "Well, that's why I need to be educated." And Pete's kind of ushering him that line of thinking that there's got to be more to it than that. And again, that's what I want for my son. That's what I want for myself. He's like, I lost my focus, like Pete. So Pete has ushered him into this line of thinking, and by proxy, the underlying thing there is ushered him into that view of acceptance.
Sure.
Because Pete is accepting, well, it's the reality. I didn't go to college. I don't know this stuff. So it's acceptance on a few levels there. I like it.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I might just be spitballing entirely there. I think there might be some stuff there.
No, I think you're right on. I think there are some very interesting layers to the dynamic that Pete and Goofy have throughout these 2 movies and through Goof Troop as well.
And amazingly, just from 2 scenes, there's a lot communicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's go to Sylvia Marple.
That'd be another thing. This interesting thing to see. Goofy, just as like I said, thing focusing on Goofy and Pete.
Oh, I would love a Goofy and Pete movie.
They should do it like The Odd Couple.
Oh my God.
Abbott and Costello.
Oh. Well, I'm a huge Abbott and Costello fan. That's why.
Except vice versa.
Yes.
Since the stout one is in charge.
Yes.
Felix and Oscar.
Again, it's like An Odd Couple meets Abbott and Costello with those 2.
All right, so yeah, let's go on to.
I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to say who's on first. Wait, who's on?
So let's go on to arguably the best thing in the entire movie, in my opinion, which is Sylvia Marple.
Yeah, voiced by hope I'm pronouncing this right. Bebe Newworth.
I think you're right.
And I always tie her too because she's the same person who voiced the mom in Jumanji.
Yes.
Oh dear, really? Okay.
Yeah.
She was also in Cheers as Fraser's wife.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. This is a fantastic character. This is easily the best new character in this movie, for sure.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
She was great.
It's just awesome to see Goofy get a love interest.
Yeah, we see her start as kind of this book-loving, put-together librarian who also, again, she's got some really neat character depth there. Where she's a '70s enthusiast. I mean, it's so silly, but it works. It's like she loves Gilligan's Island. They love
I love all that '70s stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, she oddly finds a connection with Goofy.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like at its core, it's like as silly as a sense. Like she she acts goofy with Goofy, as we see in the library scene there, and they're doing the funky chicken with each other. You know, it's like she acts goofy with Goofy. That's kind of how they bond.
Right.
Like she can be herself with Goofy.
Yeah, and what I really love, what she brings to the relationship there is that she brings, in a way, as we see, of course, in the montage sequence, she brings a counterbalance to kind of our clumsy character here. You know, he's fallen, and she's kind of directing him in the right direction there, or like helping him up, like somehow keeping him balanced. Again, metaphorically speaking, she's keeping him balanced and focused on his goal. She's helping out with that, and that's what, again, someone who's so obsessed with order and like the Dewey Decimal System and all that stuff. It makes sense. That's what her strength would be. Kind of knowing the books, knowing the stuff. Of course, it would be very beneficial to Goofy's goal and help them out. It's nice.
You know, that physical exercise with the books, I don't think that was helping Goofy study.
Well, no, but again, when you think about it, though, it is kind of helping him with the X Games later on.
Oh, I guess so. If you want to
He
look
didn't
at it
make
that
time
way.
for it, but it was just that's also helpful.
One thing I don't like about just Goofy and Sylvia is how just rushed into it. It seemed like
I don't know. They really hit it off, though.
I suppose, but I guess
I didn't think it was necessarily rushed. My problem with it was I thought that the whole bit where they break up and then get back together, I thought that whole bit was forced.
Well, remember, it wasn't exactly. It's just Goofy left. It wasn't a breakup. He just left, and obviously she's upset about it.
Right.
He didn't call. He didn't let her know. It's just like she.
And
like,
it was a
didn't hear
dick
from him.
move on Goofy's part, like a legitimately dick move. And honestly, I kind of think she took him back too easily.
I don't know. How can you stay mad at Goofy? You saw that face in that bookshelf. Come on. As you said, it's just like, how can I be mad at you? How can I not forgive you? Come on.
All right, fair enough.
And again, it was only one night. It was like one night he stood her up, and she doesn't know what's going on. She could have found him.
And it's not like those things don't happen in real life either.
Yeah.
one thing I noticed while watching the film was she has no ears.
Wait, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
What about the dance sequence? Didn't she have ears during that?
No, she didn't have any ears.
Wow. Huh.
Really? It's been so long since I've seen it, I don't remember that.
I just thought she had the
She's an
generic kind of.
earless dog or
I
something.
thought she had like the generic ear thing, but underneath.
Yeah,
the
I thought
hair.
she had like generic kind of like floppy dog ears.
Like underneath the hair, but when it's put up,
Uh-huh.
that would be the tell there if she had ears with that. But then again, it could be on her forehead because she's a dog. Well, not the forehead, but the higher up on the head.
She almost looks completely different in the dance scene with the way her hair is.
Yeah, and
Well, yeah, that's true.
in the end, you see that when they're dancing in the credits, the hair's down a little bit to what the librarian state is. Well,
No,
she's
she
still.
she doesn't have any ears.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I gotta check it out. But
She has earrings, but no ears.
I love her design too. I love just the librarian look on her. You know, like the short hair, like the big glasses, and she's like stamping the books.
That's a really good reveal of her.
Yeah. One of my favorite bits that kind of sums up the relationship is like when Goofy brings. It sums up everything about him is one thing. It's like he runs up to her with flowers, like, "Oh, Sylvia!" And then he grabs the ladder on wheels, and like she almost falls, but Goofy catches her though. And then it's like he's still there to catch her. Of course, he's going to be still clumsy and still around. She picks up the flower. She's still enamored with him. That's lovely. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really gratifying. It's
Again,
very
she's
gratifying.
his counterbalance. That's what she is.
Sure.
That's what Goofy needs in his life, a counterbalance of some variety.
Okay.
Just help him from falling,
Love.
hopefully.
Love Goofy style.
I'm just thinking of Love American Style.
Oh god.
Love American Style.
In this case, love Goofy style.
That's much better, though.
Probably.
All right. So I guess should we get into the Omegas?
Gammas.
Oh, the Gammas. Gee,
Where do you get Omegas from?
because it's just like every other college, like it's just cliche. And,
Just because it's an actual thing doesn't mean it's cliche, okay?
let's get into the Gammas.
Yeah,
Let's
Gammas,
get into
Betas.
the Gammas.
It's an actual ranking, okay?
Dr. Bruce Banner was hit by the gamma rays and whatnot. Let's get into the Gammas.
Fine, let's get into the game.
It's Bradley Uppercrust the Third.
Voiced by Jeff Bennett.
I love Jeff Bennett. I don't think this is one of his better performances,
I think
honestly.
to be honest with you, there's some interesting funny stuff with this guy. I mean, obviously he's kind of douchey fraternity 80s bully, which, I think they're playing on.
I mean, I just don't think Bennett kind of gave him that much of a personality, and that was kind of my problem with the character.
I'll argue this, though. I think the animation made up for that, because you look at him, he always has like this mad expression on his face, like the eyes are twitching, he's always looking like he's going to snap. I'm just saying, it looks kind of wacky. It looks like you have like the 80s, like the bad guy from Karate Kid, where he just like, he would snap on a dime, like the instructor from Karate Kid.
You know who holds the best performance?
What?
Who holds the best performance?
Who?
Bigfoot.
Well, that's because it's a completely silent role.
I just love the idea that Bigfoot is a member of the Gammas, but he just
that was a great cameo.
He had to shave all his hair, but there's still like a little bit at the wrist, like a
yeah
or something.
Shorter too.
Bigfoot was pursuing a collegiate career.
Well, he wanted to get his AA.
He's the one that's pulling the rocks out from the rock wall.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And walking the old lady across the street dressed as a boy scout.
Yes. Oh, Bigfoot. If only we would have heard some Peter Welker in there.
Peter, don't you mean Frank Welker?
Frank Welker. I'm sorry.
You're thinking of RoboCop.
Yeah, I know. I am. You're absolutely
Peter
right.
You're thinking of Frank Welker.
All right. Can
you imagine Frank Welker doing RoboCop though? Okay, let's see. So Bradley was the third. But again, I think like the madness is like it's like a little bit in the performance and mostly in the animation. I think it kind of makes him a little entertaining. It's like look how seriously this guy's taking everything. There's this one line in the movie, just like I'll admit, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's just like so absurd. It's just. Max says, "Yeah, Brad," and then he says, "Never call me that." Well, why do you want to be called Brad? The guy's just like he's too amped up on everything, you know.
Maybe he just doesn't want to be called that by Max or something like that.
But no, it's just Brad. What's wrong with Brad? I mean, wouldn't you want to be called Brad over Bradley?
Maybe he just prefers Bradley. Who knows?
No, it's kind of weird.
Although I associate the name Bradley with Bates Motel, so.
Well, I'm thinking. I always think of Home Improvement when I hear the Brad and Bradley thing.
And I also think of my the video store that I grew up going to, Bradley Video. Anyways,
like I can kind of relate to him on that because my name. I don't like people call me by my nickname either. I mean, I don't get worked up about it, but I don't really like being called Jake.
All right, but I think we can agree that the reaction is pretty extreme to it, though. Like, don't ever call me. It's his chicken button. It's like his chicken button from Back to the Future. Like, what did you call me? I called you Brad. Nobody calls me Brad Needles. No one.
All right.
You know, it's wacky, but basically he's a prima donna egomaniac.
No one calls me a cliche character.
Oh, he is such a goddamn cliche.
You know, he's very. I think he's more cartoon.
Oh, he is a walking cliche.
I'm thinking more referential than cliche. I don't know, because you know what an '80s bully is. This guy, I'm agreeing with you to an extent. He is an '80s bully poster boy, yeah. But it's still it's like
upper crust.
That's self-aware though. Calling him upper crust has to be self-aware. Come on. I'm viewing it more homage. Like they know, look, it's a college movie. How can you bring kind of the Animal House references to a new generation? Well, you make it kind of, it's a safe for kids version of it.
I think you're giving it too much credit.
Well, I mean, obviously, upper crust is a gag name.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see. I do. Looking at Bradley here for a second there, it's like he's kind of like, what if Max had ego and just was completely self-centered, as we see by the ending when Max makes a choice between winning and helping someone. So obviously, Brad is all self-absorbed, like win by any cost. He doesn't believe in his own athletic ability or anything at all. He's like, well, whatever it takes to win. I'll taking the easy way versus taking the schooling way, or taking the like if you want to parallel to Goofy at all, just like he's taking the easy way over the hard way, which Goofy is willing to take, or going for victory over friendship, which again relates to Max.
Right.
Let's see.
He's the antithesis to both of them.
Yes.
Now let's move on to the most lovable character in the movie, which is Tank.
Yes, I love Tank.
Voiced by the incomparable Brad Garrett.
Seriously,
oh yes,
gotta love Brad Garrett. You watched the Talking Dunes?
Yes,
on Brad
yes,
Garrett.
I have. Yes, I have.
Good Tank. Who is Tank again?
Tank's the big
guy.
one.
The big guy.
Giant guy.
Wait,
Bradley's right-hand man.
yeah,
Wants
but,
his baby all the time.
yeah, but
What's
what's
up,
up with him? Like, why is he so special?
Oh, why is he so special?
Just mostly because of the Brad Garrett performance.
You know, he's funny. He's a funny
Honestly.
henchman. He's very enjoyable. I mean, he's likable even though he's kind of working with the bad guys, though. And of course, you root for him in the end when he gets kind of in peril, though. It's like, oh, poor Tank. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, we don't want to see a giant like
One-way trip.
Tank and kill him.
You have a one-way trip to nowhere.
he has this great line too. He's such a Brad Garrett kind of tough guy line. He plays the tough guy characters a lot. Just him saying, "I'm gonna drop you like a 4-cent pair of socks."
I mean, my whole thing is, I actually think he's like, in terms of vocal performance, I don't want to slam Jeff Bennett. I really don't. I love Jeff Bennett. But I do think that Brad Garrett brings more to the role of Tank in his limited screen time in terms of just making an incredibly memorable voice.
Yeah, he just makes him very likable. I mean, he's biting
Right.
that biscotti, which, by the way, from my understanding, that would really hurt in real life to be a bit of biscotti like that. Those things are really hard unless you like dunk him in the thing or something.
And coincidentally, he's also in Finding Nemo.
Oh yeah.
And also, there's a character. The way he's portraying Tank, by the way, in case you're curious, you're anyone. In Buzz Lightyear Star Command, he plays a character. It's very similar to Tank. He plays God. Well, I want to say it's Turk. It's Turk something. Sorry. But the point is, he plays a character who can self-replicate a lot, and it's really neat.
I love that show. I remember it.
It is. But
What is it?
Buzz Lightyear Star Command. It's basically where Buzz Lightyear's from in terms of the show.
Oh yeah.
Is that on Netflix? I might have to go check that out.
Unfortunately, it's not on Netflix. You gotta watch it like online or somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah, it isn't really officially anywhere.
Was he the red guy?
No, he was the yellow guy that could self-replicate. The Lizard took him in, and he says, "Yes, Buzz, sweetheart." You know, he's like yelling at him all the time. He's like basically he also voiced Lobo in Superman the Animated Series. It's kind of derivative of that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that about all the characters worth mentioning? I'm pretty sure it is.
I mean, real quick, obviously we mentioned Bigfoot. Jeff Bennett. We should probably mention he voices some 2 characters in particular. He voices.
Oh God. Okay.
I notice you don't have a college degree.
So he's the unemployment lady, folks. Just to show you the range of Jeff Bennett. So not only is he Bradley Uppercrust, he's also the unemployment lady, and he is Chuck the sportscaster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is this again?
Remember,
What?
He's the sportscaster in the balloon. Remember, like the one that keeps cutting away from that guy on the ground level.
Yep.
Yeah, who's Goofy's boss in the beginning though? Who voices him?
Oh, that's Jim Cummings.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Jim Cummings does a lot of those bit roles for Disney, especially kind of like in this era.
Oh, but I'm sorry, real quick, I just thought of it. It's Torque. That's what I care. Not Turk. It's
all right,
Torque.
fair enough.
That's all. I'm sorry. Real quick, I wanted to mention that.
When you say Turk, it makes me think of Scrubs.
No, I'm saying when I say Turk, I was thinking of Legend of I was thinking of Tarzan. That's what.
Yeah, that's what I'm
okay.
thinking. It's like, because the only difference is Turk is voiced by Rosie O'Donnell there.
Yeah, but it's Torque though. Like like the wrench. It's. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Sorry.
We should do one of these. We should do one of these. Talking Mr. Banks on Tarzan.
I would love to do that, but we can't talk about that now.
No, we can't. But no, the original Tarzan's an awesome movie, actually. So I do have
Yes.
things to say about it. Anyways.
Anyway, so yeah, there's Jim Cummings plays the boss. And you know what's interesting about the voice acting? I don't know if it applies the same for movies, but in animation, if a voice actor portrays more than 3 characters, they get paid double. They get paid for an additional role. So basically, getting paid for 1 character, they are contractually obligated to voice up to 3 characters. That's and still getting the pay for 1. But if they voice more than 3, then they get extra.
I've heard Paulson basically brag about this, Yeah, you know, I just do 4 or 5 characters, and that's more money for me. Oh, I just go in and I'm like, hi, I'm Yakko.
I'm rolling in the dough.
Good night, everybody.
Hello, nurse.
Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. So what's our next segment? I think we're done with the characters.
That'd be mixtape.
Mixtape. All right.
Let's get our quill on, man.
Okay, let me get my my thing ready. But in the meantime, so this, I do admit, like, I think maybe if there would have been original songs in this movie, it probably would have hurt the film more than it helped it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do admit, like, I love the original songs from the Goofy movie, so I don't know. I would have at least liked to see Powerline make an appearance at one point in this movie.
Look,
that would have been pretty awesome.
It's not trying to compete with the Goofy movie because there's no competing with it. It's such a perfect movie.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think they know it's a losing battle if they're going to try to.
Yeah, but think about it. You say so yourself. You keep saying how cliche some of these things are. What kind of original songs do they come up with for this movie?
Well, I just said maybe have Powerline come in at the X Games just as like, oh, we have a special guest performer, Powerline.
Remember, I think
that'd be kind of distracting, though.
You know what it is?
Awesome, because Powerline is awesome.
I'm going to bet you that because it's a few years after a Goofy movie. I'm going to bet you it's because Powerline just kind of fizzled out.
How dare you? Powerline will never fizzle out in my heart.
I know in our heart. I'm just saying his career probably fizzled out, so he's just probably not doing performances anymore.
In all honesty, that's probably true.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean,
he had a big heyday. He helped Max get the girl in the first movie, and now he's done.
Get out of here.
And he's never heard from again.
And remember, folks, how Powerline got his name. The writer just looked out the window, saw some Powerlines. That's a good name. Just want to remind everyone that.
All right, so let's quickly run through some of the songs.
Okay, well, we start off with Future So Bright, Gotta Wear Shades, where the boys are driving in their Volkswagen to college.
Mm-hmm.
We also got a few I'm just going to run by these because they're kind of, basically like when there's either during montage or when they're traveling through the college on skateboards and on rollerblades. They got Pressure Drop, which the idea these are modern. These are modern songs, but they just have they're less dialogue.
They have a lot of ska songs in this movie, which is nice.
Yeah, like they're mainly just music based, so you can get a kind of score, more score than actual sound. I think it fits though. We got Pressure Drop, we got Don't Give Up, and Nowhere to Run is when Goofy is just kind of following Max after being clingy. It makes sense. Nowhere to Run, get it?
Yeah.
So then, of course, big showstopper, which we're going to talk about, I guess, a little later here. Well, momentarily, I guess. Shake Your Groove Thing, which was the big showstopper.
Oh yeah, I'm back.
Oh no!
Shake your groove thing, shake your groove thing, baby. Shake your groove thing, shake your groove thing, baby. Oh yeah, Hipster Donald in the house.
My eyes.
Hey yo, daddy yo.
I can't help but think Hipster Donald's appearance would have been more well suited when we're talking about the funky chicken.
Fair enough.
I can't help but think that, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, Hipster Donald's gonna go away from right now, but watch out, daddy yo, he might just come back. Yeah, Hipster Donald, bigger and better than ever. 2016. Oh yeah.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
It burns!
Tiki, seeing your eyes through those large eye holes and the black around it, it makes it look incredibly disturbing.
Like he's a serial killer.
You look like you're insane.
It's like he's from It's like, what if the bad guy from Reservoir Dogs put on a mask when he was doing the Tarantino dance? You know, when he was doing that. When he was cutting the guy's ear off. Why didn't you just put a...
What happened to Hipster Donald's beanie? What happened to his beanie?
I don't know. I lost it.
That's what I like. So the way you looked is like something you'd see in Silent Hill or something.
Well, keep in mind the whole point of the Hipster Donald character is it's basically just like a crazy guy in a Donald mask. It's not supposed to be Donald Duck. It's just a crazy guy in a Donald mask that thinks he's Donald.
I know, but it's just the way it was situated and everything looked like something you'd see in Silent Hill or Resident Evil or something.
Which is very much what I intended.
It's Donald Duck's heroin-addicted cousin.
It resides in Silent Hill.
No, it's Donald Duck superfan.
All right, I'm terribly sorry. I just needed to do that just for the glory of
Don't be
it.
sorry. Yeah, that was awesome.
Okay, moving on.
Okay,
No,
so
well, I guess we should talk about the Shake Your Groove thing a little bit.
well, let's. You want to wait on it? We're gonna be talking about it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, real soon, like literally next segment soon. So, okay, let's see. Real quick, just go into the rest here. Okay, so we got. Come on, we got. You make me feel like dancing.
Which is a nice moment. It kind of submits Goofy and Celia's relationship.
Dance the night away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have a big showstopper, one could say. A very kind of, it's kind of a cross between the possum scene in the Goofy movie and the Brave Little Toaster Nightmare in some aspects.
All I want to know is where can I get some of the acid that Goofy's been
I think you mean LSD, but okay. We
LSD
got
and acid are the same thing.
Oh, you just
BlueDragonFive,
reminded me
learn
of
your
that scene
lingo.
from Brave Little Toaster. You just reminded me of that Brave Little Toaster scene. I mean, that's just kind of traumatizing when you realize those things.
The firefighter clown with like the sharp fang teeth.
Yeah, that too. But I was referring
and Joe
to.
Ramp saying, "Run."
Oh God.
With the smoke coming out of the mouth.
The part I was referring to was the scene where they're all seeing how worthless they are. They're living things being crushed to death.
Yep, a lot of death in that movie. But back to this one. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. I can say acid trip. I'm thinking more daydream, but creepy daydream, more like a nightmare.
Okay, the one point you've got to give me for Acid Trip is it is a movie that's aping the 70s.
It is very 70s, like, which fits with
So it is very much 70s psychedelia.
No, you're right. It's very psychedelic. I'll give you that one. Very psychedelic, very 70s.
All right,
Yeah,
at
that
least
part-
give me the psychedelic.
But it turns into a Brave Little Toaster Nightmare the minute Max sits down there.
yeah.
Goofy gets everything he wants. Everything's, come on, get happy. And then there's this bit there. There's a bit that follows. Come on, get happy. It's like the record player is now cracked. And now then just Max turns into like a hulking. Yeah, in many ways, it's Goofy's fear of Max getting older. And, you know, this could skew more towards the electric chair.
Oh God.
About Max, turning into a violent sociopath in some aspect. He's getting huge. He's like hulking, and then like Goofy then flying backward, terrified in his chair, then flowing all the way down till he hits the white concrete.
Leave me alone, and he says, "Leave me alone and get your own life."
Oh God.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is Goofy. The way he smashes down that thing, I think it's kind of might symbolize. Again, it's all trippy and psychedelic. I'll go out on a limb here. I think. The thing with the way he crashes down is like, Goofy falls many times and he's fine. This one actually might have hurt him. It's like he falls down, he's imprinted into the concrete there. He's just like, get your own life! As he says, with the psychedelic Goofy, all smile. It's like, yeah, peace, man. as the door slams, just in all white, It's like, it's like he's trapped. He's zoned out into the test, which is an all white background. It looks really nice.
All right.
Yeah. So it's a frightening scene, to say the least. Okay, then we got more uplifting scenes. We got Knock on Wood, which is the Rocky-style training montage of learning.
Mm-hmm.
And
because nothing says learning like working out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know it.
Yeah. You gotta be able to open that door.
Sense. All right.
I guess then we the end credit song is right back where we started from.
Whoa.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard like an audio thing. I think.
I know. I heard that too. I don't know what it was.
I think it was you.
I accidentally hit something on my phone. Sorry.
Oh,
we're
okay.
good. We're good.
I get a notification saying that you guys are going live, and I accidentally hit it.
That's all good.
No problem. We're all afloat. So right back where we started from.
Oh, they all float, Johnny. They all float.
They all float, Johnny.
What was that?
Tim Curry from It.
Oh, yeah.
They all float. All right.
I float.
Oh, God.
We got cotton candy and balloons.
All right.
Aha! Aha! Okay. So let's let your ambitions Tim McCurry more finishing up the songs here. So again, the last one on the mixtape here will be right back where we started from, which is kind of the end credit song, which is fitting.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. So let's go to next segment.
Is that favorite scenes or pros and cons?
That would be pros and cons.
Pros and cons. Okay.
Pros.
Pro. It definitely dwells into Goofy's character. You know, we get a nice background and nice little relationship for Goofy, which is nice.
The skateboarding and the animation surrounding skateboarding was very cool.
Sure.
Because I mean, one of the really cool moments here, you never saw this on Rocket Power. This is great when he's when Max just to try to score some extra points towards the end there, because of the cheating.
That was a really cool move.
When he does the thing where he skates up, but before landing, he ends up balancing himself on the skateboard on
with one finger.
Well, one hand on the board.
One hand, right.
But and then of course doing these really cool flips and stuff. And by the way, the skateboarding, and this might have been what that again, it's been so many years, unfortunately, I can't really look back what that feature was, but it might have been delving into the skateboarding, which I mean, this movie and Tarzan are the ones that really utilize skateboarding as kind of a measure for the animation, you know. Remember Tarzan when he's doing the vine surfing thing? That's skateboarding. It's Tony Hawk. It's literally Tony Hawk's influence on him.
I wonder that Tarzan didn't get splinters in his feet.
It was amazing. Well, then again, it was more vines than, but I mean, there's probably some wooden particles.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. But anyway, I'm saying the animation applied to the skateboarding is very impressive, and it ended up looking really cool. I mean, if you're going to do a movie about the X Games, you have to make it look good, and thankfully it looked good.
Oh yeah.
And that could have gone really south if it's one of Max's big defining things being athletic and boarding of some variety. It's like, well, if that doesn't look good, then you're sunk for a quarter of your movie.
I think you can tell in this movie that all the voice actors are having a really good time.
Oh yeah. Again, the new sides of Goofy, as you mentioned, were very, very fascinating. I think we got some good montages.
I think there might be one or two too many, but yeah.
I mean, the learning montage was the Rocky learning montage was good.
That was probably the best montage in the whole movie, I'd say.
Yeah. Again, I think overall the animation was good.
I think the animation is kind of spotty scene to scene. Like Sandy and I were mentioning earlier, I think the opening scene it basically looks like Goof Troop, but then something else later, like the Shake Your Groove thing looks like something in a theatrical Disney movie.
Yeah, I'm saying the character animation seems to be really good on these. That's one's team effort with character animation on that one.
Sure.
I mean, that one, and of course, I think the ending was really well animated. The dancing in the ending at the X Games when the fire breaks out, that's great.
Now, was this hand-drawn, animation?
Let's see, it was 2000.
I'm sure there was some CGI involved, at least for the dance scene, but...
Yeah.
Not exactly CGI, it's the cap system type stuff.
Right, yeah.
Because the way the characters are animated, it looks really, nicely hand-drawn.
Well, it might have been what they did with a lot of modern ones is they draw it inside a computer, but they still do hand framing and all.
Yeah, sure, Batman Beyond, for example, they did the cell animation, then they transitioned to it's still 2D, but it's they do it directly on the computer.
Like they did with How to Hook Up Your Own Theater. It's paperless 2D animation without but it's still key framed and completely drawn by hand.
Yeah.
Without using rigs and all that.
Yeah. I love the emotional scenes in this movie. I mean, when they're there, I think they're really good.
When they are there, I think they do hit kind of the same sort of notes that a Goofy movie hit.
And I do have to praise the film for it kind of expresses kind of realities of life very well. Of okay, well, if you're gonna get a good job, you should probably have college education, which of course.
Yeah, thank you, movie. I know. Thank you.
But I mean, also just I'm saying the other stuff you have to let the kids grow up.
Right, for sure.
And that message of acceptance, and also just seeing kind of stuff like that. I liked it. There. Let's see. Again, I appreciate the '80s movie feel in the premise. I thought it was a good throwback. I thought that.
I honestly don't think it's as cliche as Monsters University is. So that's a point for this movie and a point against Monsters University, I guess. Take that for whatever you will. Oh, you're not happy with me at all, are you?
What is that?
Wow.
That's
Jesus,
not me.
I pissed him off more
No,
than I thought I would.
That's
Wow.
not me.
What happened?
What?
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 There's some pounding noise.
Yeah, that's not me. I don't know who that is.
Oh, I don't know. I just made a joke about Monsters University.
Well, I know that.
Okay, and then you were all silent and whatnot, and I thought you were pissed. Anyways,
No, I heard the pounding noise. What the pounding noise
I don't know
was.
what you're talking about with the
That's what I
pounding
was
noise.
wondering.
Oh no, guys, that was my sister. She was knocking on my door.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But your mic was silent at the time.
Yeah. No, that's before I turned my mic on silent so I could answer the door.
Okay, anyway, so I guess last thing was like the new side, seeing the new sides of Goofy. I think is a big benefit to me. As we mentioned, Goofy's a strong aspect of this film.
Definitely.
Well, the movie's named after him, so he better be a strong aspect of it.
Absolutely right. Okay, I guess getting the cons.
Yeah, cons, I don't know. Just overall, I think a lot of the stuff just doesn't hit as well as it does in the first one. I think Bobby is really a nuisance.
Yeah.
Little conventional in places. Yeah. I think I did notice this. There's kind of some weird tonal shifts. So again, as we go down and you have these moments of Goofy just being completely. Just completely bummed out, just completely sad. Then you transition to the boys having a great time driving the college.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
So
like
there are some odd tonals. It's like the Bambi thing of like, okay, mother dies, and then dun 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 dun.
springtime.
And Bambi's mother's blood's in the water.
God.
Her severed head.
And there are a lot of flies buzzing around.
Just the whole cliche of like the rival sports team needing to cheat, that's just been done to death.
Yeah, I'll tell you what bugs me about that. It's just with the cheating, I mean, with that though, it's like the idea that he's willing to cheat to basically win by default. It's like, if you're going to cheat, you got to cheat during the thing, not just like to the point where it's like, I'm just going to win by default. It's like, that defeats the whole purpose of competing against Max.
Right. It's like, yeah.
It's like when he blasts
we all know that we wouldn't get any sort of like fulfillment out of that. I mean, I guess it just goes to show how egomaniacal Bradley is, but
at the very least, it's like when they cheated, it should have been to boost themselves rather than to take everyone else down, I think, because then you have to think, okay, definitely these guys are in the wrong there. I mean, obviously they're already in the wrong. I'm just saying it's like showing he still wants to compete and just showing that he's inferior to our guy.
Sure.
Rather than, okay, I'm just going to make it completely unfair. And also the big thing with that we've mentioned, and very obvious cheating going on too. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's very obvious that, and again, the refs are doing nothing. And the thing with Max, and this is the one I'm talking about, like a little conventional here, when Max is, like he refuses to listen to Goofy, but then again, if Goofy probably explained that he let go from the team, or maybe he would have bought it. So again, it's a fault on both of them. Like Max just completely writing him off there after saying they're cheating. That's what my dad was talking about. It's like a little obvious. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
All right.
I think there's some pacing issues with the movie. I think some scenes just kind of drag.
I don't know about.
I think the opening scene goes on a little longer than it needs to, especially with Goofy's whole horseshoe lecture and everything like that.
Yeah, the horseshoe lecture it does come back a lot. So.
I know it comes back, but I'm just saying it just I get it. They're going to college and they can't wait to get out of the dad's shadow, and Goofy can't let it go. It just goes on for too long. I don't know. And then also, I think the main scene that people complain about is the scene in the cafe. People like that. That's one I've seen from multiple reviews.
I'm going to argue that's just because the poetry doesn't grab people. I'm going to argue that one.
Yeah, it didn't really grab me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's the reason why people think it goes on so long. They just can't.
No, like I said, I think it's more just an issue of just the pace. I think just a lot of stuff happens in that scene, and it just kind of goes one after the other, and it's not really paced very well.
I think the snapping was a little weird.
Yes.
Just like there's that, the whole. And then just Bradley's freaking out.
I thought it was incredibly bizarre.
It's like Jets. It's like the Jets fighting 101. It's like the handbook of how to fight in West Side Story.
Right.
You snap a lot. That scares, and that's psychological warfare, which apparently worked because Bradley's like, "Stop it!" It's like you do that, you freak them out, then you stab them.
Right. But I guess that's about it for pros and cons. You want to move on to favorite moments?
Sure.
Okay. Who wants to start?
I guess I will if no one else volunteers.
Go ahead.
Wow, I really don't know. I mean, I'm sure, like...
Me too.
I thought we talked about this already.
Yeah, we did.
We had a memo.
The disco scene was really well done, I think. It was definitely one of the highlights of the film. The animation was really well done, and the lighting and all that CG stuff that was in there, that was really nice. And plus the song just pulls it all together and works wonderfully.
As a kid, I went nuts for that sequence. I thought it was so well done. Just again, so you see Goofy in position you've never seen him before, like in the Saturday, it's like Saturday Night Fever Goof.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, and like the little flutter of the lapels of the shirt, and again he's doing this really awesome jump where like lands like in mid split, and he's doing the break dancing.
I mean, like it's something everybody thought would be lame, but it ended up being pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, he's doing like the disco.
Yeah.
He was like doing like the the little pointy disco thing.
Yeah, it's something that could be lame, but with the right setting, it turns out to be awesome.
No, that's actually a really good point, Jacob, because we brought up early in the podcast where it's like, you know, that box art where we see Goofy in the disco suit and everything, and I'm like, what are they doing? Really? And no, it's like, I think everyone can agree this is probably one of the stronger scenes in the whole film, so it at least subverts that expectation.
Yeah, so, and if it was any other scene, and that it would be kind of out of place, but him wearing that in that scene, the way he danced, it really rocked that part.
Yeah. And, you know, Garcia and PJ has some moves, too, which is nice. Yeah, they're getting PJ some moves there. Hey, guys, I love that one shot where it's like they're, Sylvia and Goofy, they're doing that, they're doing the disco point, like, like turn to their side towards the camera. That looks awesome. So well done.
Even when they're twirling around?
Like before, I like it before they're twirling. I like that. The twirling around's fine, but I like the other stuff a lot better than the twirling.
I didn't know which part you were referring to.
I mean, like when they're doing like the little, like the keep dancing, and like they're spinning around. I'm not crazy about that. So that's fine. But I love the other stuff, all the little subtle moves too. Like they're jumping around, they're spinning around, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's impressive, you know. It's like that took a lot of man hours. You could assume back then that would take a lot of man hours.
Yeah, that was easily like the thing that took the most amount of time.
Especially for a direct-to-video Disney animated film, too.
Exactly.
Getting a good one. This one, I think we can all agree, this one's a decent direct-to-video.
Yeah.
I mean, compare this to some shit like Hunchback 2 or something like that.
I would say this is top 5 material for the Disney animated direct-to-video stuff.
That'd be an interesting thing to kind of go through, like some of the better directed DVD animated stuff. But yeah, I'd say it's up there.
I mean, we know Aladdin's on there. One of the Aladdin. Well, for us, I mean, for me, it's King of Thieves. I love King of Thieves.
Yeah.
Lion King 1.5.
I mean, Lumiere's your bad guy in King of Thieves. That's awesome.
I mean, I didn't like Lion King 2, though. I thought Lion King 2...
I'm with you there. I didn't care for Lion King.
It didn't need to be made.
1.5 was fun, though.
1.5 was enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
It was almost like a self-parody.
Right.
You have Jerry Stiller.
I love both his parents. It's Jerry Stiller, and then you have Marge Simpson.
No, he's Uncle Max, so he's not his dad.
Well, but still. But Marge Simpson always stood out.
Yeah, Julie Kratner.
Oh yeah.
It's nice to have a supportive family, isn't it?
Okay. So sequel talk aside, so again, the dance scene's a big standout, and really, especially by the direct-to-video standards, very impressive.
Oh yeah.
Okay, next.
I guess I'll go. I don't know. Let's see. Which one did I? Okay. So probably like the moment that hits the most close to home in terms of being like a Goofy movie is that whole bit exchange with Max and Goofy about the teddy bear, and oh my god, yeah. And the moment where Max throws the bear on the ground, and then he reaches for it to cuddle with as he falls asleep, and Goofy's looking through the door and tears form his eyes, I'm like, god damn it.
Yeah.
The feels.
It was reminding me of the possum bit after the terrifying nightmare-inducing possum scene.
Right.
Like, the bit right after that,
like
when he throws down the hat.
Like a reversal of that scene.
Yeah. And
But
Tiki,
then,
you remember that? Now you remember where that bear? It might have been right before this movie. We got that, by the way. I'm not sure. Well, remember the Once Upon a Mickey?
Right, yeah.
That's where we got Old Stuffed Bear introduced. At least the origin of Old Stuffed Bears in there.
That's cool. But then, of course, right after that, we get Goofy in Max's empty room, and he's just holding the bear, and it's like the most dramatic, sad thing ever.
Oh, yeah, that's your Toy Story 3 moment.
Definitely.
Seriously, that was like one of the most. Again, then they transitioned from that scene to them in the RV. Well, not in the RV, in the Volkswagen.
And it's basically the tra-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la.
No, but seriously, again, one of the most heart-wrenching things is seeing Goofy like enter that empty house. Like every parent's worst, like the fear, the inevitable fear they're gonna face.
Yeah.
Like eventually, it's all it's gonna be left just an empty room, just how you started right before they were born. You know, it's an empty room.
I am way past that point with my parents. My parents can't wait to get rid of me, and I can't blame them.
So you have peak parents then. I can't
No,
miss you.
I'm 25, and I should be out on my own. That's it. It's just a matter of age.
I'm getting a sense not many Old Stuffed Bear moments at the Tiki home.
Well,
I'm getting a sense of that. That's all I'm saying.
no, look, I'm saying for my own benefit, I need to get the fuck out of the house.
Okay. That goes up.
Okay.
All right.
But the Old Stuffed Bear thing is a very touching.
Absolutely. Like I said, it kind of reclaims the magic of the Goofy movie, the original, if only for a little bit.
And for me, like the first part of that possum thing is when he throws, not the terrifying part of it, just like the first part of the like finding the hat on the ground scene. When he throws the hat on the ground, like the equivalent of that in this movie is when he just they get into the fight over the bear and they throw it.
Right. I was so worried that bear was gonna break when they were.
Well, remember they did that in the Christmas one.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You notice a lot of stitch marks on that bear, so we don't have any times that bear has been through the ringer.
Okay.
Anyone else?
What was I doing again?
This is why we have meetings.
I thought what?
You had options. You had many options, but I think we settled on the quitting the Gamma scene. Was that?
Oh yeah, now I remember.
And Goofy getting fired.
Or that? Yes, that was also a very big viable option for you, Jacob.
Oh yeah.
Well, if
Did
I
you like
choose between those two, I'd choose between the dramatic scene where he quit the Gammas. Like, no one quits the Gammas.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely more, but that's definitely the memorable performance from Bradley there.
Yeah. I love Bill Farmer in that scene too. Just giving this dramatic Goofy, you know, like he's like the Gammas are kind of pushing him around and like Tank's holding him up. You know, he takes the pool cue. He's like, well, I'm not competing in anything now, and just like saying, like you're just gonna go back to your son because he needs his day. No, he can do this by himself, and it's like, and I quit the Gammas. You did so well before me, you don't need me at all. Yeah, that's really take charge, Goofy. As a kid, it was exciting me, like yeah.
It's like, and he's like, no one quits the Gammas.
And I love this. Goofy gets thrown out of that house. Yet he's still the good-hearted Goofy, so I better put the button back. I better give him back the the Moo Moo pledge pen. Remember? Moo Moo. What is it, like a herd of cows? But should we talk about the firing scene?
Yeah, someone better talk about the firing scene.
Yeah.
So obviously Goofy gets fired. We know that. Okay. So there's this great sequence at the beginning of the movie. So again, after our emotional kind of Old Stuffed Bear scene, so Goofy's obviously down in the dumps. He's missing Max, empty nest syndrome, you name it. So he's at his day job, which we find out is now at a toy factory. How he lost his job beforehand, we don't know.
Who knows?
There's a whole series of shorts associated with that, but we don't know.
No, guys, I bet Pete blamed him for velcroing that little girl down.
Oh no! Oh, I don't want to think about that.
How did he lose his job?
There was like a whole child abuse scandal.
There was
It got
like an
really
inquisition.
ugly. It was in the paper.
There was like a McCarthy hearing of like, did you Velcro that poor girl's bottom to another Velcro shirt?
And Jacob, maybe Pete didn't lose his job. We don't know where he works.
That's true. That's very true.
Well, somebody had to see something.
Then again, I mean, Pete must have really good benefits, because when we see him, when he is on that vacation, he must have really good benefits to afford an RV like that.
Right.
But why doesn't Goofy have it?
That's the thing, he doesn't know he's
Pete,
fired yet.
I love how Pete wants to turn PJ's room into a bowling alley. He has this bowling alley fetish.
That's a great callback, though, the bowling alley.
It is.
Okay, let's see. So, obviously, Goofy has changed occupations for some unknown reason we're not going to dwell into. But he's working at a toy factory. I think it's just such an appropriate job because think about it on this level. Goofy's a very childlike guy. He wants to cling to the past of his son being a kid in his heart, as many parents think. As they always think of the good times of the kid. Anyway, so it's interesting. Goofy is working in the past, so to speak. He had a very childlike job doing the Hearst movie. Like taking pictures of young children.
But this factory setting is straight up depressing, though.
It is. It communicates a lot there. Like, that's the reality of it. It's like it's a factory that produces this feeling. Really, it's like, no. It's like,
Ironically, it's supposed to create joy for children.
Yes, exactly, Jay. That's exactly what I'm going for there. Anyways, then he's constructing the robot toys, which, I love the design on these robot toys, by the way. I love my gadgets. I love putting the things together. I just love seeing the assembly go on there. And then he hallucinates that the toy is Max for a moment, and then the boss, voiced by Jim Cummings, on the overhead is like he's saying, stop goofing around, or stop messing around. Anyway, then he panics and he flips the speed lever, and then it's basically an I Love Lucy gag. Now they're coming really fast.
Pretty much.
Then of course he can't assemble these all that fast, and then he goes through the little sucking machine as he accidentally hits the reverse button, and as he gets sucked through the machine, boom, 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 yahoo! Machine the big machine is assembling the parts again. No one goes to Goofy's aid, I might add. No one pushes the other reverse button or helps him out there. Just machine blows up. Thankfully, Goofy is not dead. Yahoo! He crashes right through the roof, and he's into a whole broken assembly line full of boxes and full of the robot toys and everything. It's like pieces all over the ground. Boss walks up. It's Jim Cummings. And he has a really sharp cane. He impales the rubbery-looking head of the robot, which I always loved the touch that was rubber.
Which is very disturbing, I must add.
And then he's pointing the robot head, which is now the end, the little rubber tip at the end of his cane now, at Goofy's direction.
He was reminded of Max as that head.
Yes.
Right.
I never thought of that.
I don't know if they did either. I was just pointing that out.
Thank you for that. I never thought of that. Oh, by the way, I love seeing the chessboards being made. By the way, so that thought was really inventive, showing that, because obviously it doesn't get made that way. It's like an imaginative way to do it. Anyway, so the robot head is pointed at Goofy with a box on his head somehow. I don't know how it works, but it looks cool. Just him with that box stuff on his head, and he says, Goofy, I warned you. You're fired!
Then we just see all inside his mouth and whatnot. We see his tonsils, essentially.
And then poor Goofy, he's just dragged off by security, and just this box on his head looks at the saddest image you've ever seen. Is Goofy being dragged away as if he's going to jail.
And it's just it's a moment that just really hits you. It's 5 seconds long, but it kind of reminds me of something out of Don Bluth, something in the Don Bluth heyday of dark animation.
And I gotta tell you, just talking about it now, I think there's some thematic stuff going on here. I could be crazy, but again, if the whole thing's clinging to childhood, again, that's the message. Goofy needs to let Max grow up again. He needs to let him. He needs to let him mature. He needs to divorce himself from that, holding on to that, because he's always going to have those memories. But
plus, it also relates to people that have screwed up on their jobs.
Yes, which again, this also is foreshadowing for the scene where he's hallucinating about Max, and of course, it costs him when he's doing the test.
This movie is an equal opportunity traumatizer for people who have gotten fired and people who have failed classes.
Yeah, it's one bad day.
Yep. Except no giant vats of
Because
chemical.
that's where he takes the midterm. It is also very much like I have had experiences like that where I'm like, I get the midterm in front of me and I'm like, oh god, I don't know what the fuck any of this is talking about. I am screwed.
And more connections. That character was also voiced by Jim Cummings. So again, he's
Oh god.
he's getting undermined
Jim
by.
Cummings just likes to traumatize Goofy in this movie.
Well, of course, Jim Cummings also Pete. So
Of course.
all the people just yell a lot that in Goofy's life are
Jim Cummings.
undermine or yell at Goofy. They're always Jim Cummings.
I wonder what Darkwing Duck would do if they met.
Oh my god.
Like Goofy wants to be Darkwing Duck's temp.
I want to see that crossover.
It's already taken by Launchpad, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Maybe,
it is.
Again, it's a temp, so it's a temporary job.
Oh boy.
I love that Launchpad is on that show. All right. Anyways, I think we're just about wrapping up.
Yeah, my scene. My scene. I love this one.
Okay, go ahead.
That would also be a cool show to do.
What, Darkwing Duck with Goofy involved?
No. What I'm saying is that'd be another cool debate, and well, not debate, but discussion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anyway, well, by the way, real quick, I want to mention I saw some sight gags here that you guys might appreciate. There was a movie theater and had these fun parody names that was playing in a movie theater. The Goof Father. Goofimator. You're gonna love this next one. Pup Fiction 2, spelled T-O-O. So apparently there was a Pulp Fiction with kind of our Goofy style characters, and there was a sequel.
I want to see that. I want to see the equivalent to the overdose scene.
What would Pup Fiction be like?
I wonder how it would warrant a sequel. That's my real question. And again, because this movie is a sequel, Pup Fiction 2. Okay, anyway, though, so here's my thing. I love this scene. This scene will always stick with me from this movie. Just as a kid, I always loved this scene. I think it's just, I don't know, it always kind of jazzes you up. You know, I think it's just really neat scene. It's the emotional satisfaction, but it's also just how it's visually told. It's the X logo has come down. It's been lit on fire because of the rocket attached to Max's skateboards that trip him up. So he Tank's trapped under the beam of one of the the giant X logo. And the Max, being the nice guy, is a choice between winning the race or saving Tank. Of course, he saves Tank because he's a nice guy. So he's finding Tank, and wonderfully voiced by Brad Garrett, saying, "Hey, dog boy, baby, I need your help. Help me get this thing off." And he does, and he's helping.
I mean, who doesn't want to rescue Brad Garrett? I mean, he's just a lovable guy. Come on.
Yeah.
You know something weird though? I'm like, when I first watched it on TV, even several times, they completely cut out the scene where he rescued. Just like went to him going in, then coming out. And they completely cut out that part where he rescued him.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, Tiki. That's the thing that they do with the movie where it was a sensitivity thing. I don't know. I'm not saying it was for 9/11 specifically, but it was like a thing, like it was some violent thing that happened, and they tried to edit that out.
Yeah, I mean, like it wasn't until years later, like I said, I first watched it on TV, so they cut out that part entirely where he went into the debris and rescued him, which
that is some craziness.
I kid you not.
I don't even want to get into that because I'm afraid I'll say something politically insensitive.
But you see what I mean? It gets ridiculous like that sometimes.
Yeah, but it wasn't until years later when I actually watched a version of it online where they actually had that scene in there. That was the first time I ever saw that.
I don't know if it was, again, I'm not saying it was specifically just an alteration made because of that event, but it was like an alteration because of sensitivity. That's the main point, He
said, I remember, I mean, I remember not seeing that scene. I was like, when I watched it years later online, I was like, wait, this scene wasn't when I watched it.
I hate it when I'm watching movies on TV and they take out I was watching Polar Express around Christmas time. They cut out the first bum scene. They cut it out for time.
Jeez. Oh, come on. I don't even
and he's
like
still
that
in the movie.
I don't even like that movie that much, but you can't do that.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so back to this real quick. Let me finish up with it. I love this moment here. So, anyways, then Goofy comes in there. Of course, he has to save. He save his son. He's in the middle of this fire. There's also he's helping Tank out. They're getting them out of there. And then you get this great shot. So it's 2 bits here. It's one this shot. So Bradley, it looks like he's about to cross the finish line. But then we get this awesome shot of emerging from the completely collapsed X logo. It's set ablaze, looking like, oh no, they're goners. And then they emerge out, and I love this shape they make. It's like this giant. On this one little skateboard, as a kid, I love this image. On this one tiny little skateboard, you have Max leading it, pushing it forward, and you have behind him, you have Tank on the thing. It takes up a lot of space on this board. Like there's a giant engine block on the thing practically, and you have Goofy like peering over Tank's shoulders, a little Goofy head, looking intense. Yeah.
I don't think they'll physically be able to move in real life.
I know, but it's come on, you gotta give us some.
It probably collapsed the skateboard.
Yeah. Well, then again, the skateboard could support a guy like Tank beforehand. It's just
that's true.
But in addition to Max and Goofy,
I don't know. Goofy's pretty light in comparison. I don't know.
Who knows?
Okay, regardless of the logic there.
It's a cartoon.
Visually.
But that's the scene where it cut to, where them coming out of the fire. That's what they cut to after they went in.
Weird.
But
that would be very odd.
They just showed them coming in, and they showed some worried people, and they came out. That's all they showed. Yeah, but it wasn't until years later when I saw them Max actually trying to struggle looking for him inside the building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I love that shot of them merging, and of course I love the emotional thing. Like when they Tank and Goofy, then the logic applies. So they jump off the board so that Max can get up there logically.
Right.
But I do love the moment where Tank's holding Goofy and he's saying to him, "It's sure one good kid you have there." And then Goofy delivers his line, just the acceptance in this line. Bill Farmer delivers this line so well, saying it's not just the line, so it's the delivery. I'm not doing it, just him saying, "You're wrong, Tank. He's not a kid anymore." He's looking with pride, nothing but unbridled pride upon his son. Like, my son not only did he just make the right choice, but just the fact my son's growing up, and I can accept that. It's like such a wonderful moment amongst just an awesome visual shot, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I love it.
Yet again, emphasizing Goofy's development.
Yeah,
definitely.
He's finally learned. He continuing his arc from the first movie. He finally learned to let go.
Yeah. Literally, I mean, he jumped off the board to let him go, let him, do his own thing. Visually, it's communicated, which is neat. Again, if I could just take away one bit from this movie, it's always that bit's always stuck in my head because it's such an emotional and awesome-looking shot.
Mm-hmm.
Any quick moments we should probably go over? I mentioned the study montage. I mentioned the happy. It's scaring people. The parachute landing was awesome on the skateboard when
that was
70s
fun.
clothing to land it.
I can't really think of any bits I want to highlight. Not really.
Not to rush you guys, but I gotta go here pretty soon.
Well, we're just wrapping up now.
Yeah, we're just okay. So I guess that's
hang
the
on
cue.
for 2 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
We're good then.
Okay, so let's just get to closing thoughts.
Yeah. Let's get Sandy on there first then.
Oh, well, I enjoy this movie. I wouldn't say it's any one of the Disney greats, of course. It definitely cannot live up to the standards of the original Goofy movie that we all know and love. But it's fairly enjoyable. I could watch it once in a while. Again, it's not anything spectacular, but it's good for a straight to DVD movie.
Yeah, I just think I think this movie has very good elements to it. Like, I think the Tank character in general is really fun. Obviously, some of the animation's really good. Goofy's love story's really good, but I don't know. There's just there's something off with it. There's the pace. There's the fact that the animation quality kind of varies from scene to scene. Like, I hate to say it, but you can tell that it's done on a straight-to-video budget, in spite of some scenes looking very good, like the dance scene that we keep praising. I'm glad that it's there. I'm glad that it continues the Goofy movie thing. There might be some things that I'm a little iffy about in regards to, did Goofy and Max really learn their lesson from the first one? But you guys kind of convinced me that there is some growth there. So overall, I mean, definitely out of the straight-to-video Disney sequels, it's definitely up there with some of the better ones. I know that's not high praise by any regards, and it shouldn't be high praise, but it's a decent movie. It's fun. It's fun.
But Tiki, real quick, I know what the scene you wanted to think of was. It's when Goofy enters the college.
Oh my God! How did I forget about that?
We gotta talk about that one real quick, okay?
Okay, so really quick, Goofy just bursts in. He's got this 70s suit on. And the thing, he's like, oh, but you're in for learning.
Hi, everybody. You're in for some learning.
I'm sorry, but I do think Max is a bit of a stuck-up asshole. And not the whole movie. He has moments, but through a lot of movie, he's kind of a stuck-up asshole. And so I just love seeing Max in pain. So I love the over-the-top cartoonish scream that Max gives.
Wouldn't you do that too if you saw your dad doing that?
Probably, yeah.
Let me say this again. In addition to the scene I mentioned, there's the other most distinctive thing about this movie to me. There's the animation and the reaction Max has. Again, cracked me up in the trailer too. Like, ah!
And then I think this joke is a little dark, especially because I am going through some personal depression issues, but when he's like going to Bob, he's like, kill me, just kill me.
Okay, that's pretty funny though. Come on, that's just like
funny. I'm just saying, like, I have depression issues, but
you can't just factor that into every
I know.
Anyway, after he's just saying, like, just kill me, just kill me, I'm shaking him, like, please, he's so desperate. And then he says, hiya, Maxie, he's my son. Then you echo the possum moment where everyone's laughing around him psychotically.
It's Dork and Dork Jr.
I really hate that.
Then the Wiggly's the Dad, you're scaring people.
Which is great, but of course the ultimate no. The no!
All right. I'm sorry. So I kind of wrapped up on my final thoughts. So Dragon.
Jacob, what do you got?
I
thought Jacob had to.
Oh no, go ahead. Whoever.
Well, I have to go with what you guys. I can't really add much more to that. I mean, as far as direct-to-video sequels go, it's pretty well made. It looks decent. It's interesting to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting is the word.
I mean, I'd watch it. I mean, it's not like it's unwatchable.
Oh, one thing we should just very, very quickly highlight is I do think that the way it opens with Goofy banging the gong, that's neat. I really like that. It's a good throwback to classic Goofy shorts.
Speaking of which, let me transition to my final thoughts.
Okay.
If I may.
Yeah.
So, again, that was the thing I really appreciate about the movie, and I think in many ways, kind of through the animation of Goofy, I think it harkens back to kind of the how-to Goofy things, just putting him in these situations, seeing what he would do, just kind of trying to catch his bearings, or just kind of in these new places, new situations. I think that's what this movie is. It's placing Goofy in kind of an interesting situation.
How to go to college with your son.
Yeah, it's like such a wacky 80s movie premise, and of course all these 70 flourishes to it.
I've actually taken classes with several people who take classes with their parents, and it's not nearly as bad as this movie makes it out to be.
Look, I mean,
well, their parents also aren't Goofy.
Fair enough.
But I mean, I think this movie, because I had a lot of nostalgia towards it. And again, Goofy movies always imprinted on your mind, but this one is, I think, it's just rewatching it in my case. Just, I have appreciation for a lot of bits. I mean, I love the new sides of Goofy, as I will say, I'll praise. You get to see depressed Goofy, you get to see defeated Goofy, you get to see the romantic side of Goofy, you get to see the determined Goofy, which is a rare Goofy. I love seeing the determined Goofy. There's a message about focus, how focus is valuable, and especially getting a good education. There are some good values and some good messages to this movie. And of course, the biggest one being learning to grow and let go. Which I think is neat. And again, I could always look at this movie for that final image, but also these fun gags of like Goofy walking in the room. Hi everybody, I'm yearning for some learning with Max freaking out like that. I think there's some really great moments, and I think it's a fun movie. At the very least, it's fun. I think it's a satisfying sequel. It's serviceable. That's probably proper. Again, it's we know going into it's not going to top the anomaly that is the fantastic Goofy movie. But it's a fun exploration to another adventure with these characters. I think. It's fun. At the very least, it's fun. It's, again, amongst the direct-to-video sequels, it's definitely one you can watch.
And on that note...
Oh, gosh.
Not again.
Tiki, this is terrifying.
It's back.
I know, it's terrifying.
It's the possum scene all over again.
Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes.
Oh, God.
It has no soul.
Oh, Tiki, you need to, like, paint around your eyes black like Batman.
That actually
You look like a psychotic.
And here's the difference. When you take off the mask, you should keep the little circles around there because everyone complains about it.
All right, so that'll do it next time, folks. Until the next exciting edition of Talking Mr. Banks. Shake your groove thing, shake your groove thing, baby. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Why?
Go